a little tartness. But I kept going into older and older books, and then finally I hit a book that was a presidential cookbook from 1780.
Really?
And they're making root beer and ginger ale and cream soda, but they're using the roots. They're getting sarsaparilla and sassafras root, and they're getting lemon to make they make like lemon sodas, and they get vanilla beans. They make a cream soda and ginger ale. So all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, here is the point in time when they were using whole roots and spices in a herbally significant and wonderful way. And I said to myself, the natural food industry has a lot of people that will eat stuff that tastes like crap, but they know it's good for themselves.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I think I can make a ginger ale with real ginger here using these brewing processes that predate sodas, which is about 1830, 1840.
Right.
For the first sodas. I said, I can get these real authentic things. There might be someone who can tolerate the flavor and love the health benefits. So I went through the 80 batches in the kitchen and all kinds of recipes.
Right.
I started finding cookbooks in the Caribbean, cookbooks that would have like homemade ginger beer, as they call their strong ginger ales, freshly made. And I started, finding and trying to network with people around the world who might, know stuff, historians in the soda arena, getting recipes. So I have a pretty good recipe book of all these old brewed sodas.
Right.
And I ended up, it was interesting because my ginger ale has like lemon, lime. That's from the Caribbean. Right. Pineapple. I actually use cardamom, which is
what is cardamom? A lot of people, I didn't even know what cardamom was for like the first year. You kept saying cardamom. I had no idea what it was.
Well, it's a secret, by the way. I just announced it on the air. But it's like cinnamon.
Okay.
And, if you can make cinnamon toast, one of the things we had as a kid, or if you did a French toast, you put cinnamon, or nutmeg works really well. But it's a very aromatic spice that works very well off against sugar. It's just they think they use it a lot in Swedish or Danish pastries. Right. They use it in Middle Eastern coffee. They put a lot of cardamom in.
Right.
Indian tea, like chai, will have a cardamom component to it, along with cinnamon and clove and nutmeg and pepper.
Right.
So, but it's got a lot of health properties. It's great for digestion. So it kind of works in Anyway, it works with the ginger to help with digestion. Has a lot of its own health properties. Has amazing flavor, though. I'm a cardamom freak, like ginger.
Right.
And this, so I remember I was looking at, someone said to me, you got to go to the Jamaican restaurants in town. There's some guys making real stuff.
Right.
And I remember going to Janet's Jerk Chicken, and she was making pineapple ginger beer. And I said, damn, pineapple. This is amazing. So pineapple went into my drink from Janet's Jerk Chicken. And I went to Stone's Market where, nobody was speaking English, definitely right in the middle of Crenshaw. A little bit, scary going there. And they had a barrel in the back. And they looked at me and they dipped from the top of the barrel. Because they figured if they dipped from the deep down all the way to the bottom of the barrel, it would kill a person like me. So anyway.
The first recipe was the original, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what was the second, the extra?
No, it was the spiced apple brew.
Oh, really? That was number 2. Okay.
And I'll tell you how that came about. It was Christmas time. One of the things about the ginger brew is it's a Caribbean tradition during the holidays or around August to brew up your ginger beer, put an earthen vessel, fill it with the ginger brew, a little rum, bury it in the sand. Right. And the smell of Christmas to them is opening these earthen vessels and having the ginger brew waft through the village.
Really?
So we're at Christmas, and I said, why don't we make some spiced apple cider?
Right.
And I can't avoid putting fresh ginger in it because that's who we are. Right. And I was tasting it. I said, hell, that's a brew. That's a Christmas celebration drink, just like Caribbean stuff. So,
I put it out for Thanksgiving all the time. People love it with turkey and everything. Oh, my gosh, it's wonderful. It's like a slice of homemade apple pie in a bottle.
Yeah,
It's incredibly refreshing.
You're really making me want this right now.
You know, I told you about it. I told you about the apple brew. I said, don't forget the apple brew.
Well, you know, down where I live in Arkansas, the only choice I've got at the health food stores that carry his product is the original and the extra. That's it.
Well, I got news for you, buddy. This is where you have to start putting your foot down and order a case of it. Tell them, look, I want the apple brew, doggone it, and I mean it. That's what you have to do. You have to. That's how you have to deal with these people, Steve. I'm telling you. I suspect here. So. I know. I used to buy mine direct from Chris because I used to distribute it for him. But then after I didn't do that, I had to go and deal with the regular guys again. It was like very annoying. You have to get in their face. Trust me. Okay, I digress. Anyway, so spiced apple brew was second, and then what? Then what happened?
I don't remember exactly the sequence on it. I think extra was third.
You were like experimenting all along, right?
Yeah. What happened was people said, it says Jamaica-style ginger beer or ginger ale on it. That's the original, right? Mm-hmm. And I had people say, well, if it was just said ginger beer. I remember I was on Beverly Hills at some kind of a liquor store, famous liquor store where, they carry it, everyone will know. And he says, well, if it said ginger beer, I need a ginger beer. I said, it is a ginger beer. I just call it ginger ale. He says, it has to say ginger beer. So I said, oh, screw. So I went and created the extra.
Well, that's a bit stupid because, if ale isn't beer, what is it?
Well,
in this country, ale is beer.
Right. But unfortunately, ginger ale means no ginger bite, no ginger, and ginger beer means I've got something happening in my body. I'm feeling a lot of heat in the back of my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though you were feeling the heat with the original, it wasn't. The naming was bad. So we put out ginger beer for those who needed it, and we made it stronger. So we didn't just change the label on it.
Right.
Then we did the raspberry and then the cherry after that. Oh, premium, raspberry, and then cherry.
Right. Okay. Now I remember back in the '90s, you got all excited because you got yourself a great ginger slicer from some woman. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it like changed everything because where were you getting your ginger? It was like from Hawaii or was it from Mexico?
No, it was Thailand originally.
Oh, is that right? Okay. And then you got the slicer, and somehow it had something to do with the fact that the slicer was efficiently releasing the flavor of the ginger, and it was just making. And I remember because you said, the batches are going to be coming out and they're going to be stronger. And like we had some, I think it was a Javits, and like I remember Pete took a drink and he's like, whoa, and he's like, here, he handed me one, and I was like, oh my gosh, the recipe is like completely changed. I mean, it's not changed, it's strong. It was astonishing.
Yeah. Really it's kind of interesting because I used to drink the soft drink versions of ginger ale that come from all of the soft drink companies. And I kind of liked it, but I went to South America about 20 years ago and ordered a ginger ale, and wow, it was very different, and it was lots of ginger in it, and man, talk about waking up your mouth.
Yeah.
And I've never had anything like that until a month ago when I drank my first Reed's Ginger Brew, and it's not like anything else that's produced here in the States, and it's not like this ginger ale that I had in South America. It is a totally different product, but wow.
Yeah, and think about it, Chris. I mean, it only took me 16 years to talk him into getting some. Imagine what your stock is going to do 16 years from now with all our listeners. Think about it. All you got to do is hang in there for 16 more years, man. You'll be able to retire.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually growing really well. But it's interesting right now. What's happening is Canada Dry has figured out that we're not going out of business, and we're actually getting big enough that we can start doing some marketing. And they're trying to preemptively market. Now you have all these commercials on MTV hitting the youth saying, and we're using fresh ginger, and they show these kids out in a ginger field, and they're pulling up ginger roots, and all of a sudden they pull one up, and it's a Canada Dry bottle actually growing on the plant.
Yes,
wouldn't it be absolutely amazing if Canada Dry got so peed off with you that they decided to buy you out?
Ooh. Yeah, I was thinking that why don't we sue Canada Dry for calling it ginger ale?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember there was a guy that's here in Philadelphia who he created what do you call it? He did lunches. He did lunches for the guys over at Pepsi. He's over in the Northeast, and these guys would order like this basket of sandwiches, and he would put in there Reed's Ginger Brew and send them over. So you get sandwiches and ginger brew, and these guys started drinking it, and it was around the tables in these executives' offices, and it became a scuttlebutt for these guys because they're like, hey, what are you doing drinking this stuff? We drink Pepsi over here. And they said, have you ever had this stuff? And they started drinking it. And they were like, for a while there was a little bit of like an internal conspiracy going on. People were getting pissed off and yelled at over Pepsi. I heard this whole story from the guy that ran the deli.
I didn't hear that one. It's good.
Yeah, it's a good one. I love that. Yeah, I get this feelings, Chris, because there's a lot of we're just starting to scratch the surface of what happened when you started to explode. That we might actually we're at 20 minutes of the hour, and I'm just wondering, can you hang out for a little bit longer? Is that possible? I mean, I don't want to keep you if you've got things, and no pressure, no worries. But
no, I can hang for a bit. It's okay. Friday night. I don't have anything.
We haven't even gotten to the Kava story. I mean, there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of shenanigans we got into.
The Kava guy right now, one of the guys that you guys pulled apart at the fight, is actually a consultant working in my office full time.
Really?
Yeah, Mark Panley.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And those guys are no longer, right?
No, he had Journey Soda, and there was a guy, Coors Soda, and they were two CEOs of competing beverage companies, and Journey had just launched. And we were at this Kava party, which is a South Pacific thing. It was supposed to be intoxicating, but not like alcohol. Like it's supposed to make you just mellow.
Yeah, it spaces you out. That's all there is to it. Well, you're not talking about the Kava party we were at?
Yeah, I'm talking about that Kava party.
Okay, well, maybe you should tell everybody. All right, look, let's set this.
You want me to go into the Kava party? Right?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Why?
So anyway, this is when we first met, when I asked Brett at BK Enterprises in the Philly distributor, you were going to get all your goodies. I said, right. Brett, do you have anyone who worked the booth for me? And he says, do I have a guy for you? He buys 100 cases a year. I said, personally? That's insane. Yeah. So anyway, he said, well, he's kind of a...
I want to set the record straight in case Pete's listening in, because I didn't buy it all. He and I would go down together, and we get 15, 20 cases at a time. So Pete was buying a lot of it, too. Oh. Yeah, and then we were sharing it with everybody we knew. So that's why we kept going down there. Go ahead. So
you got that was a life-changing experience, without a doubt, hanging out with you two. Mm-hmm. And because you guys looked outrageous back then.
How dare you?
I remember the big guy in the industry, the guy who buys everybody out, Bill Knutson, who worked for Smuckers. And Bill's walking by, and he has an offer in to buy us. And I'm, of course, stringing him along, acting like I care. Oh, yeah, we're thinking about your offer. And he goes up to the booth, and you guys are in the booth, and you guys are looking like you looked, which is, I don't know how much you want your listeners to know, but it was outrageous. And he just
are you talking about up at Javits or down at the Whole Food Expo in Baltimore?
In Baltimore.
Okay, all right, the original. Okay, yeah. All right.
And he just looked. I remember he came up to you guys. You didn't know who he was. He just started querying, like, "Who are you?" He says, "Well, who are you?" He says, "Well, I mean, what are you doing with this company?" He says, "We are the men. We're the men behind the company. You guys were so great with him. You just trashed him. He's just this major. He could not figure out who you were. But anyway, we went to the Kava party. I had my two bodyguards, my two wingmen. You and your buddy there.
Yeah, Pete.
Everybody's just looking at us, going, what's going on with Reed?
Yeah, what are these miscreants?
These guys are wild. And then when these two CEOs who were drinking this mellow drink of Kava to make you mellow, started going physical right in front of us. I was between them. I was a small guy.
Yeah. Well, no, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me.
You are talking about the Spanish equivalent of champagne, aren't you?
No,
this is like a route from the South Pacific. It's
that's what I know as Kava.
Oh, is that right?
Kava is a root that they mash up and put in water, and they drink this liquid out of the root, and it numbs your mouth like you're doing something else.
It's like drinking kerosene.
Yeah, and it leaves you. It's supposed to make you all mellow. I personally have never had the effect of whatever the heck Kava is, but you go Google Kava.
Yeah, you go Google it. Well, look, here's the way I recall it. we were down doing the food show, and the Kava people couldn't get a booth, so they set up like a night of invitation to all the vendors to come and try Kava at this